Thumbnail. I kind of don't... It's been a long time since I've recorded. Great. In saying that, the background does look played here, but I don't know what to do with it. And also don't mind the little posters I have up here. It's my comic vision board. Oh shit, I'm back with another video. I kind of want to die because this one is about romance. I don't want to be that person known for always getting themselves romantically involved. But I swear this one is worthwhile because I think I met my twin flame. Maybe he is watching right now. Yeah, turns out he knows about this channel. And it's not out of my own volition. Rather, I invited him to one of my friends' parties. And one of them, I'm looking at you, Sam, was like, so how's your YouTube channel going? So, do you want to take this outside? Originally, I was on the fence about telling him about it, but never mind. Anyways, I am getting sidetracked. So let's just start with a disclaimer about twin flames. They're not your soulmates, and you guys aren't necessarily going to end up together. But the main purpose of a twin flame is to trigger one another's personal growth and transformation, and also spiritual awakening, for whatever reason. As I've read, twin flames are two souls cut from the same fabric. So I'm running with that definition. Though in saying that, I believe that this man has mirrored my soul like no one ever has so far, and how there's too many coincidences during our connection that made me think that there was something more to us. Henceforth, without further ado, let's just get into it. I'll call him D. So D and I matched on Bumble back in November or December of 2024. And I remember when I first came across his profile, I was 50-50 on it because it gave like such wholesome energy, but also fuckboy energy. Except, I don't know, the fuckboy energy came across as like a persona to me. It felt kind of gimmicky. But nevertheless, I swipe right and boom, we match. I sent the text first because, again, it's Bumble, and the text wasn't really flirty because it was about Mario Kart, and I think he responded normally. After that died down, he became a little flirty, and I'm like, oh god damn it. Though, I was right on the persona. So then yeah, I became dry on text, only because I didn't have anything to work with. But of course, we still exchanged IGs. So anyways, around the time that happened, as you may or may not know, I was still in contact with my ex of 5 years. We were a few weeks into post-breakup, but I just wanted to see how he was doing and how he was handling it. I still want to make sure that he was okay. And mind you, I got nothing out of it. We were on good terms, and I've always held that sentiment that if him and I did break up, we'd still somewhat be in contact and still be like, not exactly friends, but like, I don't know, just still in contact in a non-overindulgent way. So basically at the time, I was on dating apps and I was low-key looking for friends with benefits. Not anything serious, and of course I was transparent about it. Now, I had D on my IG for like a couple of weeks now and nothing really came of it. He would just reach out to me first, sometimes, I think. And then one day, somehow, some way, shape of form, I think we were texting, and I remember I was in the living room and I sent him a photo of Elf on the Shelf because it was just there. And yeah, I think he made like this risky joke, and it was this funny, freaky little text. And I was like, oh wait, there is a personality behind that persona. Like, that captivated me in a way where I'm just like, okay, well now you have my attention. I was texting him on my talking. We were just talking. So of course we had to meet up pretty soon, and that's what we did. I don't know how it happened, it just did. And it was on a weekday and we both had work. And since I finished at 7 and he finished around 4 to 5, he was going to make that long ass drive from the city. And so after I finished work, I quickly drove over there and I changed it to my casual wear. I was kind of stressing because I was like 15 to 30 minutes late, even though I was just right there. And when I got out of the car, I dropped my phone and it left a huge crack. And I'm like, is this an omen? Who knows? Anyways, 15 to 30 minutes late, I was like, OMG, hey, I'm so sorry. I kind of kept apologizing. But this man, when I walked up to him, he was leaning against his car, one hand on the phone, one hand in his pocket with his leg kind of up. And it kind of just looked a bit uncanny to me. But you know, what can you really do? The walk up to the first date is already traumatizing enough. So we hugged and I didn't really have any thoughts because, again, I was just embarrassed that I was that late. Yet I wasn't feeling in the mood because I just worked and it was also a rainy night. And also, we didn't have a spot or any plans. I'm pretty sure we agreed to play by ear or something. Though as a local, right? I'm the local. Hi. I went completely fucking blank. But whatever, his bladder ended up saving the day. And we found like this local, he found this local pub where he did his business and we resumed the night. Funnily enough, him and I weren't that hungry, so we ordered a barbecue pizza to share. And of course, he paid, but like, I wanted to also chip in, and so I paid for the lemon lime bitters. So anyways, we sat down and waited for the buzzer to ring for the pizza. So of course, what do you do when you're waiting for food? You talk, obviously. The conversation was a typical blah blah blah, what do you do for work? Blah blah blah. But there was a moment in the conversation where I sensed his neurodivergentness, so like, autism, ADHD, where he went on a tangent about getting the Samsung Fold. And you know, it's like a high-end phone, so you would really want to be showing it off, doing tricks on it. But no, after like a week or two, I think he got overwhelmed with it. He just kind of put it in his drawer and bought like the new iPhone. And I'm like, okay, no one really does that, but word, I guess. However, when it came to me, different story. Instantly clocked me when I kept over apologizing. So we keep talking and it's still the stereotypical conversation, but it's still a good vibe. And then his phone lights up and it shows me his lock screen. Oh, what's your wallpaper? It's Victor from Arcane. And suddenly I'm locked into the convo. Oh, who's your favorite ship? Vic and Jace for ABC reasons. Something about how their love transcends, like in all timelines, in all possibilities. And we just basically yap Arcane and stuff. And I think by then, the pizza's done. So we hear the buzzer and he's like, oh, the pizza's done. I'll go get it. And I was like, yeah, okay. And when he left the table, I felt like a genuine shift in my mood where I had this rush and I felt revitalized. Like I became self-aware that I was actually enjoying myself and his energy and what he had to say. And this date was going so well. Like there was no smoke, no mirrors, just raw chemistry. Like we didn't have a plan or anything. He comes back with the pizza and I'm kind of jumpy to talk to him. Like my tone switched up and I got a bit more smiley and reactive. And he also picked up on that switch up too. When I asked about the first date over the phone like a week ago, because, you know, peer review, he started to recount the date, and up to that point, he was like, and I came back with the pizza, and there was like this glimmer in your eyes. Sir, that was not because of the pizza. But when he said that, I was like screaming, pissing and crying, kicking my feet, because that was a perfect summary of how I felt. Whew. Okay, now it's break time. I'm just gonna scroll on TikTok for a few minutes. Wait, low key? Does this eat?
You're going to be very...
Okay, anyways, that's enough TikTok. Anyways, we finished the pizza and we head straight to the parking. And of course, we parked at the back and we talked. Well, more so he did, but I just wanted to get to know him and his past relationships slash situationships, and I don't know, fuck around and find out. My jaw was on the floor afterwards. Like, what the hell did I just witness? Like, I was speechless because he had such a bad streak. Is he the common denominator? I don't know. And then came my turn and I was hesitant to really open up because the breakup was still recent and I was still seeing my ex. So I had one of his fidget toys in my hand and I started to play with it. As I did, the words and sentences just flowed so effortlessly that I didn't even know where that came from. Like, I just felt so authentically and emotionally open and vulnerable. I was like, whoa, where the hell did that come from? Like, I felt like a completely different person. So the night continues for us, and he brought his Switch because, remember, I mentioned Mario Kart, so he brought it for us to play. And I was talking the biggest shit because I haven't played Mario Kart in a hot minute. Yeah, I haven't touched Mario Kart on Switch for a while. And again, it was raining, and he had the AC blasting. We were alone in the car park. And he mentioned how it kind of reminded him of this one similar situation that happened to him. Like, he was parked, not exactly in the middle of nowhere, but like somewhere, I guess, where they were alone. There was also like this man who was standing in the middle. And that's why he specifically parked reverse, because to see a man in your rearview mirror just standing there, I know, for some reason I just started like cracking up laughing. That poor man. Whatever, I placed 12th, and then we played some trivia, which is pretty much my pace and whatnot. I think I won, but I'm not sure if he intentionally did that, just so I could feel better about myself. Oh yeah, speaking of losing, guess who kept on misplacing her glasses? So when we got into the car, I kept on putting my glasses on and off for some reason, and in doing so, I kept on misplacing my glasses. And so after trivia, I placed them somewhere. And I was like, OMG, where are my glasses? Normally I would like find them within like seconds. I would just like look around and they'd just be visible. But this time it wasn't. And I was just like, bruh, where'd I put them? And so D brought out the torch and he started to look around. And boom, they were there in my side door compartment. And I look there and I'm like, oh, that's so funny. I'm so funny. And then when I looked back at him, our faces were like kind of close because he had to like lean in, like it's in my side door compartment. Anyways, I was super embarrassed, but in the most gentlest, kindest, and endearing voice, those were the dishes. He says, "You're so silly," and he kisses me. Fireworks in my body, roll the credits. And after that kiss, I was like, damn, that's crazy. You want to move this to the back? But before I say any more, that got me all flustered. Wait, 1 second. But before I say any more, he asked about me losing my glasses because he thought it was like a skit, like a setup to kind of get us to kiss. And I was like, what? No, I just like genuinely kept losing them. It just happened to work out that way, I guess. But alas, it was like a fucking weekday and it already hit 12 a.m. So yeah, not even like a week after, we decided to meet up again. And this time, this man books a hotel room in the city. And I'm like, okay, I'm down for that. You know what I'm saying? So the day arrives and I was like to myself, hey, if I'm heading to the city and our meeting point is this close to my friend's apartment, then I should bring my drawing. Now, for context, I have a friend who lives in the city. I'll call her Mick. I drew something for Mick like 3 years ago, but I haven't really had the chance to give her the drawing because we're just casual internet friends. And I have such a soft spot for her. Like, we keep in touch here and there, but we're not close, right? Like, our friendship is really loosey-goosey. So before I meet up with D, I meet up with Mick and I give her the drawing and was like, hey, I'm so sorry it's this long overdue. Hope you like it. And she's like, it's fine, thank you so much. Go have fun on your date. We'll hang soon. Now, let's put a pin in that. And yeah, the date went well. I had fun. And I realized when we did meet up, we were unintentionally matching. So we both wore black tops, beige bottoms, and Converses. But also, I had hoops in, like the earring, and his first reaction to them, he came up and was like, so is it true? Bigger the hoop, bigger the hoe. Hahaha, you fucking wanker. I don't know where they are right now, by the way. I lost them. I lost my hoops. Like, I bought new ones, but I just don't know where my old ones went, and I swear to God, if they're at his house. Ooh. Ooh, I'm so mad. Anyways, first up, we went and got banh mi. After we got that, our minds overheard the same convo as we walked past a mum and her daughter. And the mum was talking to another person, and she was like to them, oh yeah, they're not allowed sugar, only on special occasions. And Dee and I both looked at each other like, what the hell, is she like a dog? Like, what do you mean she's not allowed sugar? That's actually so sad. But yeah, after that, we walked around just to see if we could find a place to eat. And he was also taking photos on the way as well, because he also does like taking photos. Like, he brought around a digital camera, and I thought that was like so fucking sick. But yeah, we found a place at a park-ish. It's like an open space or whatever, but there was also a bunch of tourists there. And he asked if they wanted their photo taken. And I don't know, I just thought it was so sweet, and I was kind of inspired and in awe, because I remember when I went to the 1975 concert with my ex, and these two random baddies came up to us and was like, oh hey, did you need like your photo taken? And I'm like, yes ma'am, if you don't mind. But I was like, OMG, I should do the same out of my own accord. Which is what Dee did. He didn't get asked to, he just offered and initiated. And then after that, we went to go buy swimmers for me because I didn't have any swimmers. So yeah. And though I can't swim myself, I was like, sure, yeah, I'd get into a pool with you. Because he likes swimming. If anything, I was more so in distress because I hate looking at clothes in real life. Like, I hate looking for clothes, sorry. But he was so patient with me, and when I finally picked them and got out of the changing room, right by the door, that man was dancing to Touch by Cat's Eye. Like, as I did, the chorus started to play, and he was like, but you've been so out of touch, 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 with like the hand choreo, and gosh. Okay. And then we bought some snacks and stuff, and then we chilled in the pool, and then the hotel room. Anyways, unexpectedly, I got my period afterwards. And so I told him, and his first instinct was, oh, I'll go out and I'll get some pads for you. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. Did you want me to come with you? Nope. Okay. Long story short, he found an Asian store and he sends me a photo of some pads. And I'm just like, yeah, those look like pads. It'll be fine. And so he comes back with the pads, but we both fail to notice that they're 40 centimeters long. For reference, they're like diaper length. Okay. And I still use them for my next period. So anyways, for some odd reason, my mom ended up calling me like 8 times that day. I think she was pissy because I missed her first 2 calls and then proceeded to bombard me with another 6. But basically, I had to cut that date short. And I was like, he kind of upset. Okay, fine. I was actually super bummed out. But he was super reassuring and stuff. Like, I don't know, he was just like, you know, it's okay and stuff like that. Now, next date was pretty significant because I feel like that's when things just start to fall into place. And that damn white rabbit got us. But yeah, went to his house, met his family, saw his crib, and it was chill. And then like, I don't know, we were just chilling and chatting. Were we bed rotting? I don't know, but it was just like really nice. And what more can you like really ask for? Yeah, just in this period of time of knowing him, I felt like we were in sync and aligned in a sense, where it's just like, oh, I was about to call you, or we'd send each other the same TikTok and we'd be in his car and I would look to his car playlist and I was like, bro, what? You also know that song? That's crazy. Like, it happened a bit too often for comfort. And just the way that he would talk, it's like he got into my head. So, you know, I thought we'd get a bit more than like 3 to 4 months before no contact hits. It's a canon event in the twin flame journey. I hate it. We literally had a playlist together and a date bucket list-ish. By the way, those were his ideas. So basically the last moments before shit hitting the fan was when we met up for Valentine's Day and his birthday. So for Valentine's Day, in his 23 years of living, he has never been on one. And you know what, that's fine. It's honestly not a problem for me, but like if it's a problem for him, then I guess we gotta do it. Like, yeah, I'm aware that he wants one, but he just hasn't had the chance to. And again, that's totally fine with me. There's nothing wrong with being a late bloomer and being late to like romantic stuff. Not everything has to happen in your teens. And so he calls me and drops the question, oh hey, do you want to be my Valentine's Day date? And not gonna lie, he didn't have to ask. Like, I was already set on it. Like, it was already guaranteed either way. And it's nice to just be asked, even if you are dating or not. But yeah, I was sobbing on the inside like, it's so stupidly sweet. At this old age? Hell yeah. And then he starts planning, like, he has full control, full reins. Like, that man was planning everything and he was rearing to go. Day rolls around and this time he's 30 minutes late. But only because he was picking out flowers and that there was traffic. Who would have thunk? Also we don't talk about the flowers because we just don't. Oh god. But honestly, it was so chill. It was so fine. I'm so okay with it. Yeah. So first off, we went to the aquarium and then an all-you-can Japanese an all-you-can-eat Japanese buffet. And to end the date in the city, I think he took me to Minnesota. He wanted me to pick out a plushie because he wanted to do this thing where he would spray it with his perfume, because I do the same thing with his plushie and I spray it with my perfume. Anyways, I pick out this Kurumi donut looking pillow and it just happened to be the last one. I'm low-key sitting on it right now. I like to call it the Kurumi BBL pillow. Let's just say that it used to reside on my bed, but ever since something happened, yeah. I need pee real badly. And then last date was for his birthday. We went to a wildlife park and we had seafood boil as well. Oh, and also before I forget, there's like the stim that he did. And he also had one at the aquarium too, but with this one, let me just get this one out. I want to send a TikTok to him during no contact, but like, again, it's no contact. I can't really do anything. I was getting a lighter and some candles for his birthday because, duh, it's a birthday. There was something playing over Cole's radio that D was like, I don't know, he suddenly brings up Alvin and the Chipmunks. And then he starts imitating Alvin as this grown man walks by, and I get embarrassed because it was so fucking random and like, what the hell, man? We both notice, but only D looks at him. And that man actually gives a little like smile, a little chuckle back at him, which is really wholesome. I wish I didn't look away. This also kind of happened at the aquarium too, where I would low-key kind of get embarrassed. He's not doing anything embarrassing. It's just like me projecting. That's a thing. Like, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. I don't know why I got so embarrassed. So yeah, if you guys ever see D in public, can you like please show him this, because I can't. Wait, hold up.
It's a beetle. It's a chipmunk.
The fucking ending gets me every time. Anyways, yeah, after we got to the motel, he instantly put on Alvin and Chipmunks on my YouTube. And for a week, that shit was in my created YouTube mix. Fucking Alvin and the Chipmunks. And those were the last 2 dates before things got complicated. So fast forward, there was a situation that happened involving friends and family. And I don't exactly want to go into detail because it's private and there are other people involved, so. And he also made that joke about me making a YouTube video about this, and I'm like, no, I would never. God damn it. Yeah, nah, I was joking, but like, I was thinking it, not gonna lie. But after that, there was so much tension between him and I. Like, I felt so disconnected from him. Even though prior to this, there was like a bit of distance before the whole situation happened. Except I didn't mind as much because he has a lot on his plate right now, and also I need to focus on myself and how I can't be getting into another relationship, even though low-key this already felt like one, but you know, labels. Because remember, throughout this entire duration, I'm not looking for a relationship and I am not trying to get into one. He wasn't looking for one either, but he was open to one regardless if it was with me or someone else. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, back to the situation. Well, 2 days after it, he had to retake his exam. And with this exam, it's very important to him because like it has to do with work or something. And so I left him alone with like an occasional checkup. I wished him good luck, and when he told me he passed, I was so incredibly happy for him. And then I gave him 1 to 2 days to settle down and compose himself because it has been such an incredibly packed fortnight for him. All the while, I was just somewhat chilling, like it didn't really affect me at all. Anyways, this time I called and I was a little anxious because at this point I didn't know where him and I stood. I needed some reassurance because I felt mixed and I felt like maybe he doesn't like me anymore, or like the attraction has kind of faded away, which is fine if it did. And so the call begins. I'm like, hey, what's the go? Like, what is happening? How do we get over this? And stuff like that. And I think there was like a bit of silence and hardly any back and forth, but the verdict was, I like you, but I don't want to see you. And when I heard that, I was in complete and utter shock because I feel like that switch up was so insane to me that I was like, oh well, okay then, good night, bye. And then I just hang up and I was numb for 2 days. Now let me just take a breather because I didn't realize how broken I was during then. So when we called, we didn't really get up to anything, like there wasn't really any progress, and I think it's because we didn't know how to properly communicate. And I don't know, it's just like this weird thing. Like I did brush off the burden to him of deciding what's going to happen to us. I think I said I'll follow your lead or something, or I'll go off based on what you say, and he didn't really say much, so I couldn't really figure out what to do because again I just didn't know how he felt. But yeah, it would have been a big decision in hindsight. I just didn't know where his headspace was when he's just as lost as I was. And with my previous partners, they were always the one to take the lead, and again I would just go with the flow. And so I was kind of expecting him to do the same, even though he hasn't really been in a relationship before. While I wouldn't exactly avoid the discussion, but I just wouldn't be the first to initiate it, and I would like play it off as if things are fine, and I won't exactly take it seriously, or I'd shut down. And yeah, I think me and D kind of bonded over that. Like I think we were talking and he said like, I don't like conflict. I kind of shut down and go quiet and I don't engage, and I'm just like, yeah, me too. And yeah, that's when I realized, well, this is like after the fact, right? After the fact, and yeah, this is like after, and yeah, this is where I kind of dwelled. Okay, you know what? Whatever. I'm done. I like he was frustrated with filming. I just need a little meal break. I'll be fine. Even though I like you forgot what I said. So if there's like an inconsistency, you'll know why. Also, like, this is completely random. But I have a blind box to unbox. You're welcome. I was gonna mention my avoidant tendencies, and I feel like this is kind of proving the case. For some reason, I'm really obsessed with real life's Sleepy Nancy. I don't know, it's just the bubble and her being very sleepy is what gets me. It's what sells it to me, you know? But yeah, these are for the phone, I believe. I need to do that obnoxious pointing thing. So this one is the one I had first. I bought 4 of them in total, so these are 2, and I also had another 2 a while ago. So I had this one, and then I also got this one, but I gave this one to my sister because she's a rabbit. I just want the frog or the bunny because wait. I'm hoping to get the bunny one because it matches the little earphone case. I also want the frog because my phone is green and I think they'll look pretty freaking sick if you ask me. I need to make sure that it's on camera this time. Please be the rabbit, 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 please be the rabbit. Oh? Oh my god, no way. Dude. We got the sisters! She came home, that's so cute. Like, what a pair. Like, I just saw the pink reflecting off this and I'm like, oh my god. I think I have her. No way, that's fucking sick. I'm actually so happy. I think I can continue to process the trauma now. Where was I? Oh yeah, kind of looking at that in hindsight, I've lost so much aura points. This whole situation was one big mirror to say like, hey, look at you too, and I did not like that. And I'll open up that can of worms in like a moment. Maybe later, I don't know. But yeah, let me just continue on with the story. So after 2 days, I reached out to him again because I was like, you know what, maybe he needs more space. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt and that he does actually want to see me. But yeah, the switch up was so insane. Like, I thought, I don't even know what I thought, to be honest. No thoughts, actually. And I waited until he finished work to, I don't want to say confront him, but I did kind of confront him. Though the irony is, I actually started working when he stopped working. And I was kind of texting him on shift. So as we're texting back and forth, I was reading them and replying to them on shift. And that's when I genuinely started to crash out. And when I finished my shift, I immediately rushed back to my house and started to write a wall of text to him. I don't send it yet, but I tried to remain as calm as possible, as composed as possible. Just his responses confused the hell out of me. You should have seen my responses. I was just like, Pooja, what is this behavior? Like, April Fool's was a week ago. You know that, right? Yeah, I just didn't understand. Like, the communication was so, on both sides, sorry. It was so, like, it was not giving. And after an hour of exchanging messages, dude, I was so glued to my computer back then. Oh my god, it was insane, actually. Dude, I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. Like, girl, you thought you ate that. Like, after I sent that message, I was waiting on a response since 12 AM in the morning. And when I was getting ready for work, he sent me that fuck-ass text message. Oh my gosh. I can't. I literally can't. I can't process it. I genuinely started to laugh. Like, that message, the message he sent threw me off so freaking hard that I actually got a kick out of it. Because it just was so absurd and so nonsensical, and I feel like it kind of broke something in my brain. And then I just started to demonize him and villainize him, and like my mind ran through the worst possible scenarios and the worst possible like outcomes of this. There was a surge that ran through my body that I had to quickly check the mirror if like my pupils were like dilated or something. My pupils were fine, but like I just want to check just in case. Not that I have any other diagnosis, but I know it was just like this shift in my body where I know I felt like chemicals were being elevated, and I don't know, I just wanted to see if I was chill. So while my body was crashing out, my mind was like, hey, let's kind of leave it at the moment. You have work to do. Can we just focus on that? He's evil and he's a narcissistic piece of shit. And I felt let on. Like, what was the reason? What was the reason? Like, what do you get out of this? Like, what? But whatever, I remember screenshotting the chat and thinking of a skit that I can do to bring it up to my coworker. And at that point, I wasn't really mad. I was smiling because of that high I got. I tried to do the skit that was going to introduce the text to him, but like the internet wasn't working, so I couldn't do that, and instead I just show it to him on my phone. So his eyes widen up, his body tenses, like they physically recoiled, and then there was a pause. Oh my god, I am so sorry. And then fucking darts out of the store. Like he randomly ran out of the store as if he was gonna be sick on my behalf, and I was just over there laughing, thinking that this is like the funniest shit ever. And then with my other coworker who just witnessed that, she was like, but what in tarnation? So yeah, while he was feeling some empathy for me, again, I was just like laughing in the corner. And then I proceeded to crash out 3 days in a row. I'm pretty sure there's work footage of me doing that, but yeah. Anyways, I then proceed to send the screenshots to my close friends and just anyone who I thought like I would be comfortable with telling, because again, this situation messed me up so hard. And again, it's not all him, it's also partially with me as well. As you can kind of tell, I kind of just went at the splurge. With the reactions, it was like 70-30 ratio of what the fuck, what the hell, and like that's something like know your worth, what are you doing with this man, but also like his valid or something. Yeah, so kind of just like what the hell to a neutral stance. Like no one really called me out on my behavior, which is, well, we'll get to that actually. And in the text messages I was like, hey, any good thing I said about him, every compliment I said about him, even that one really good but very inappropriate joke he made in the waiting lobby and it made us laugh out loud. Like, I take back every good thing I said about him, every kind thing I said about him. Now this is where the situation turns to me. So on the day that Dee sent that message, I texted another friends with benefits. Let's call him Lottie. And Lottie has pretty much been in the background for all of this. Like the situation that happened with Dee and I, him and I meeting up for the last time. And he was also there when I found out about the situation. So I texted Lottie during the shift, one of the crash out shifts, saying that I was upset over Dee. We basically met up that night, and as I was driving to the meetup spot, I actually drove past my ex on the road, and I think we both looked at each other as we drove by. I remember looking at him and all I could see is a silhouette and also like his cap silhouette. So as the shade disappeared, like the shade of the cap disappeared, I knew that he was looking at me. But whatever, right? That's not like a bad omen, right? By the way, that's the first time I've seen him in 2 months after we transitioned out of post-breakup. Anyways, Lottie and I meet up and we go into his car. We chat a little bit before I open the floodgates. And as I went to go show him the screenshots, I said, Dee broke up with me, as I passed him my phone. When that happened, I freaked out a little bit because that's exactly what happened in my dream, verbatim. I had a deja vu moment, which is different from deja vu. For the people with their hand up, deja vu is when something happens in your dream and it happens in real life, as opposed to deja vu where you have been in this place before. But with this one, it felt a bit more weighted given the circumstances. And I remember waking up from the dream and was like, that's so strange, like, we're not even dating. I should write that down. Spoiler alert, I didn't. So when that happened, I simply asked for my phone back, took a screenshot of the time and date, and just continued on. And don't you worry, because there's a lot more coincidences coming. Fast forward a little bit more and I've crashed out on shift, to my close friends, to a friends with benefits. But you know who I haven't crashed out to? My trio. People who I've known for around 7+ years and barely have any photos together. Like, how can I forget? Like, surely they'd want the tea, right? Surely they'll comfort me, right? In a way, yes, but also no. Let's just say I got humbled and grounded so fucking hard that I deleted the screenshots and apologized to the people that I sent them to, and then I also apologized to Dee. My tear glands were so swollen, my eyes felt like they were gonna pop out of their sockets, and I've lost so much water body content. My lips were so cracked, my nose was so drippy, and just to hurt someone like him in the way that I did was absolutely foul. and all my rage, all my anguish was just exhausted from my body. I realized I was on an emotional high driven by my own pride and ego, and since he felt like such a mirror to me, which has never happened before, the moment where I felt rejected and threatened by him just sent me guns a-blazing. Of course, he didn't make it any easier, but I just want to take accountability on my end. And if I've learned anything, it takes two to tango. We've quoted that so much that it actually haunts this connection, and it's actually a bit of a trigger for me. Never again. I don't think I've cried that hard in such a long time that I felt so embarrassed, ashamed, humiliated. Like, how could I? How could I be so destructive? After I apologized, he accepted it, and I unblocked him on all my social medias, except for TikTok. That'll come into play later. And he says his goodbyes for now. It's because he believes that mainly I shouldn't be pursuing an intense emotional bond like the one him and I have, because I still have my issues to work through coming out of a relationship, and that he shouldn't be enabling my likeness towards him, and so he initiates no contact. And me, in my vulnerable and fragile state, I didn't press on. Like, I want him to remove himself and block me because I didn't have the guts to. I didn't feel like I deserved him to be in my life, like just the way that I lashed out on him. Like, I've never done that to a person before. It was so raw and intense. Yeah, I just felt so defeated, but he talked me down and then we left it off. Now, the first no contact begins, and I had to sit in a lot of guilt and discomfort. And this time around, I really tried to see it from his perspective and where he's coming from. So I reread our convo and I tried to understand his sentiment over my personal feelings. I journal about it and boom, I reached the answer. I can verbalize where he's coming from and what he meant. Hallelujah, I'm quote unquote fixed or healed, but not for long. Anyways, this is where the lore takes a whole nother trajectory. In this part of the story, it is May and it was my cousin's birthday. And where does she host it? On a beach, which happens to be 20 minutes away from his house. How do I know this? Well, one, it goes past his suburb, and two, I was there 2 weeks ago. So now, let's pull that pin out. No, wait. So remember Mickey, the one who I mentioned earlier, the one who I dropped the drawing off to before I went to the date in the city with D? Yeah, so she texted me, right? Her parents were on a trip to Japan, and so she's looking after the house. So she sends me the beach, and I Google map it because I don't know where it was, and I'm like, oh, that goes past his suburb. Great. And fun fact, I didn't give him his birthday present when we last hung out because I forgot it, even though it was a drawing and I just need more time. Which reminds me, before I forget my mini crash out, let's do a quick flash forward to July, my birthday month. And around this time, I was hoping for a birthday text from him despite everything. And yeah, I did get a text, but not from him, not from my ex, but my ex's mom, which I thought was real sweet of her. So anyways, I come into work one day and I check the work calendar, and the managers also like to write stuff that's coming up for them as well on the work calendar. So hair appointments, nail appointments, laser appointments, tattoo appointments, and doctor's appointments, and sometimes also gift reminders. So again, I check it. I have a geese, and there were 3 things written on it, but only 2 stood out to me. I get flanked by toothless Lego written on the 1st of July. First of all, who would write that on the work calendar? And second of all, who wrote this? I assume it could only be a gift, but again, sometimes that just happens. But whatever, right? Toothless is a popular character and it's probably nothing. And then I check my birthday. Somehow his initials was written on it. On my birthday. Whoever this manager was seeing, they had the same initials as him. Alright, you guys. Who's the pranksters? Where's the cameras? Cut him. It's not funny anymore. So yeah, his birthday present happened to be a drawing, and it was of Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. Do you kind of see where this is going? That's the main plot point. I was there 2 weeks ago, and fast forward, I'm in the car with my family, around the same beach Mickey and I went to, and we drove past where him and I went when I first came over. We go past the main road and my memories get triggered. Like, something about Rubber Rats and how he made me laugh so hard that my legs went weak when crossing the intersection, and how we got acai and we saw that Pomeranian and we matched tone with our belly button conversation. But whatever, we arrived at our destination, and while we were waiting on the others, I was scrolling through Instagram Reels. Okay, I came across this one meme. It's that one iconic Titanic scene where Jack is holding up Rose, cue I'm flying Jack, and then it was AI generated to make Jack throw Rose overboard. And the caption was, how an avoidant treats you after 3 months. December, January, February, March, April. I go to the comments and start reading them. And then suddenly a light bulb switches in my head. Oh wait! He actually does or did like me. Romantically. Maybe even more than he let on. Okay, pause. I wasn't really quite familiar with attachment types. Like, I thought I was an avoidant. Like, at least had tendencies, but like I didn't realize what a true avoidant attachment style is. And also, the people who I have sent the screenshots to, majority of them is like, maybe he doesn't actually like you. And I remember when my trio, or at least like one of them, was like, he doesn't like you, please stop, it's embarrassing. And I'm just like, but guys, please, please. I swear he does like me, you have to believe me. Yeah, I just felt so heartbroken after that, and I also started to believe that. Only one person told me like, hey, I think he actually likes you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. And then from those conversations, it kind of wore me down, and I came to the conclusion like, hey, maybe he doesn't actually like me in the way that I thought, and that's why like I felt so guilty that I went on a rampage, because maybe he was genuine enough to spend time with me and to be himself, but yeah, he just doesn't like me in that way, or sees me in that way. However, with this new information coming to light, I stopped fighting it and I started to understand more. So after waiting around, we found the rest of the family, and then we ate, and then after we ate, the cousins and I went to go get a sweet treat, but we had to walk for it. So of course, me being me, I took this as an opportunity for a main character moment. We're near the beach, near the coastline. It is the most optimal, somber, bittersweet conditions for it. Like, I'm talking weather, environment, mood, and ambience to make this feel like it's straight out of a movie. I put my earphones in and I walked behind them as I took in the view of the coastal line while I ponder in deep introspect. And everyone around me looked so happy while I wasn't, but I was at peace with that. Like, I even saw a couple chilling in the boot of their car. We were walking on the pavement and the couple was just there. With the boot open, facing the open view of the coast, the seats were laid down and they were laid back. With a blanket, but they looked like they were having a good talk. They really did. And as much as I would love to have that, it's not what I should be focusing on. Sonda has never hit me so hard. I felt like I surrendered in that moment and I was in tune with my nervous system for the first time. And in saying that, guess who I got a text from? At this point in time, my cousins and I weren't at the beach and were at a wharf instead. We were waiting for the adults to wrap it up because it was getting dark. And while the cousins were pretty much chatting, I was still in the back, kind of just feeling it all out. And suddenly, ding, my notification goes off. It's my ex. You know, the one I made a video on. And yeah, his text reads, and I quote, "I feel bad because I know you want to see me, and I'm sorry, but I don't think it's the right thing to do." So right now, we're still in May. So from November 2024 to January 2025. That was the transition period of the breakup, and the both of us have started to move on and away from each other, which is fine. Personally, I was hoeing around and he was starting to see someone seriously. And I knew about this and I was okay with it. When D initiated no contact in early April, that's when I saw my ex on the road. Whatever, right? A week or so after, come Easter, my ex is now dating her, and again, whatever, I'm happy for them. However, during that period, him and his new GF and his friends, they went camping and they like to ride motorbikes. And without giving away too much information, he basically got into an accident that almost cost him his life. Yup. And apparently he had to get airlifted to hospital because they were in the middle of nowhere. Anyways, when I first got that text, when I first got that text, I was on another date, and this dude I was on a date with, he's so wholesome. He is a friends with benefits turned homeboy, HB for short. And he also knows about this channel too. Quick shout out to the realist. Hi. But yeah, our date ends and I read the news from my ex. And I'm like, girl, what the fuck? My first instinct was to visit him with flowers and do like a little catch up. And that's all on Scout's honor. And at first he was hesitant, but he was going to find a time for us to talk. And no one else knew that I knew about his accident except for his parents and his new girlfriend. Of course, I already understood his concerns and the situation. Like, I know I'm not entitled to a visit, thus I was fine to wait on his terms. And I know seeing an ex after you almost freaking died is probably the last thing on your mind, especially when you're dating someone new, but like... And so when I got that text at the wharf saying that the visit is off, after waiting 1 to 2 weeks, and especially that day out of all the days, I crashed out. And let me set the record straight, he is valid and I can understand where he's coming from. Like, it's not an easy decision. Exactly why I removed him and his friends off my social media. Please don't speak to me again. I'm not sure if he's still subscribed to this channel, but if he is, yeah. It's kind of awkward, isn't it? And yeah, I take back my statements in the previous video that I made of him. Yeah, it basically triggered the living hell out of me, and I think it woke me up to basically feeling like I'm always being kept at a distance. And I also didn't realize it at the time either, but I also felt disrespected, not just by him, but also my trio. Like, the people who I've known the longest and somewhat keep in regular contact with despite all odds. And then there's D. And I'm not sure if I should love or hate the guy, but he was a catalyst and he felt like a mirror. Before I continue on, I need to make my stance clear. I tend to be a naturally giving person, and I guess it was amplified by me wanting to people please and overcompensate because I don't think I was good enough, etc. But this is where I need to withdraw and go to people who are able to reciprocate what I have to offer. People who I feel like are willing to meet me where I stand without feeling drained. And by the way, I'm not asking for much. In fact, I don't even... it's not like I don't deserve it, but like, it's not the forefront of my mind. Like, as someone who's being genuine with how much I'm willing to give with wherever I'm currently at, that sometimes is to my own detriment because I hardly expect anything in return. That's not going to clash with the right people and the people who won't overstep what I have to offer. And in saying that, I also do need stronger boundaries, and I'm working on it. I already struggle with self-love enough as it is, but I'm working on it slowly and holding myself through the process. As with my video where I talk about my ex, I really want to delete it, but you guys have no idea how much growth I've done. I've learned more on my own than I ever have in the 8 years I've been in relationships. And this isn't me trying to put the concept down. They've taught me a lot, including the multiple versions of myself and my tendencies. If anything, I think the self-awareness and awakening has finally caught up to me. It's kind of like the Grim Reaper waiting for someone's time to be up, and is there in his black cloak with his scythe just gooning in the corner, waiting for the moment. And God, especially if they have escaped death before, The dude is always wanting to settle a score with those guys. Anyways, during the contact, I come across this Steven Universe quote. And it's from Garnet. Your soulmate is your complement, not your missing piece. And if I want to make this more dramatic, which I will, because why not? During the Valentine's Day dates, during the Japanese buffet, Dee and I were playing a card game where we ask questions to each other and about each other, and I forgot which specific card that prompted this, but his response to it was, complimenting you would be complimenting myself. And this is where I leave you guys off in the first part. There's a round 2, yes. I'll be honest, this is pretty much the climax of the story. Like, I don't think I can top whatever the fuck happened in the first 5 months. I think from this checkpoint onwards is just me dealing with my inner turmoil. I know I was supposed to start being active last year with this channel, but as you can tell, I wasn't in the right headspace. But it is because of this whole situation that I am slowly building my energy back up. But anyways, let me know what you guys think or something, and have a wonderful rest of your day, and please do take care of yourself. Oh my god, my voice.